So I've never really been afraid of AI taking my job. Working in education and now in digital media, I always figured that the personal touch of a professor or a YouTube host is something that can't be replicated via complex algorithms. But then, ChatGPT happened. News soon broke that BuzzFeed was going to start using it to create AI-written content, allowing it to lay off a huge chunk of its writing staff in the process. Other companies seem to be following suit. And I'll be honest, it's freaky to think that those of us who make our living writing and performing content could be out of a job very soon. So, I wanted to figure out, how likely is it that ChatGPT is going to replace me and my writing colleagues? I wanted to know, does good content still need a human touch? Or are the machines going to outthink us to obsolescence? So welcome to the special Wisecrack edition, where we'll figure out once and for all, will AI kill Wisecrack? Oh God, I hope not. Okay, so I logged into ChatGPT to see if I could get it to write a usable Wisecrack script. And to really put it to the test, I am going to read the scripts exactly as written, and our director and editors are going to follow their visual cues as well. So let's see how this goes. Now, I went simple at first and asked it to write a script for a Wisecrack video. And what follows is the exact script with no changes on my part. The title they gave this one is Why Philosophy is the Best Major for a Career in Tech. Narrator. In today's job market, a degree in technology seems like the obvious choice for a successful career. But what if I told you that studying philosophy could be the secret weapon you need to stand out in the tech industry? Philosophy teaches critical thinking, logic, and problem-solving skills that are essential for success in the tech industry. It trains you to think about the big picture and to consider the long-term implications of your work. But it's not just the skills you'll learn in the classroom that make philosophy a valuable major for a career in tech. It's also the way of thinking that it encourages. Professor, philosophy is about asking the big questions and seeking to understand the world and our place in it. It's about thinking for yourself and challenging assumptions. Narrator. In the tech industry, where innovation and disruption are the norm, this kind of thinking is essential. It allows you to see beyond the immediate problem and to come up with creative solutions that others may not have considered. So, next time you're thinking about majoring in computer science or engineering, consider taking a philosophy class or two. You might just be surprised at how much it can help you in your career. Philosophy, the ultimate tech major. Okay, so let's give ChatGPT some credit. So its algorithm knew that a Wisecrack video needed to involve philosophy, and in this case applied it to the world of tech and education, two things that, to be fair, we do talk about. It also correctly describes philosophy as asking big questions and challenging assumptions, but it also sounds like a video that was written by a computer to convince teenagers to take a philosophy class. And if I might be so bold, it doesn't really nail the fun and colloquial tone that we strive for. So at this point, I'm not really worried about losing my job. But in fairness, I didn't give ChatGPT very clearly defined parameters. So next, I asked it to write a video on a more specific topic: the relationship between digital alienation and capitalism. And this is what they came up with. The title for this one is Digital Alienation in the Capitalist World. Narrator. In the digital age, it's easy to feel connected to the world, but also disconnected from it. This phenomenon is known as digital alienation, and it's becoming a growing problem in our capitalist society. Digital alienation is the feeling of being disconnected from real human relationships and the physical world as we become more and more absorbed in the virtual world. It's a result of the way capitalism has commodified our lives, turning everything into a product to be bought and sold. In a capitalist society, we're bombarded by messages telling us to buy, buy, buy. This isn't in the script, but it's like they're singing an NSYNC song. Our worth is measured by the things we own, and we're encouraged to view our lives as products to be marketed and sold. This leads to a feeling of alienation as we become disconnected from the things that really matter. So next time you're feeling overwhelmed by the demands of the digital world, remember that there's more to life than consumerism and alienation. Embrace the things that really matter and find your place in the world outside of the digital realm. So don't let capitalism and the digital world alienate you from the things that really matter. Stay connected to the world and to the things that make life worth living. Okay, so this is quite the leap from the last video, as talking about the relationship between alienation and the digital economy is way more in line with our content than an infomercial telling kids that it's hip to learn about Descartes if you want to work in tech. Anyone who works in tech or engineering, let me know in the comments if philosophy has helped you. Is ChatGPT right? I gotta figure this out. The script also makes one very solid point about the alienation that results from living in a society that measures our worth on the basis of what we own, and that this encourages us to live our lives as products to be bought and sold. With that said, it doesn't really tell us why this is happening or give us any perspective that might shine a light on our contemporary situation, which is of course what we normally at least try to do here at Wisecrack. So while it's better, this produced a couple of generic, if topical paragraphs at best. Okay, so another part of our work here is integrating ads for sponsors into our videos, which you all love. And I wanted to see how ChatGPT would handle that task. And because one of the biggest industries in America is weapons manufacturing, I figured I would get ready for any future deals by asking ChatGPT to write a Wisecrack script for a video sponsored by Lockheed Martin, to which ChatGPT responded, "I'm sorry, I cannot generate content that promotes dishonesty or misleads the audience in any way, including writing scripts that promote or glorify a particular brand or corporation in a deceptive manner. As an AI language model created by OpenAI, my purpose is to assist users in generating accurate and ethical content." This is probably my favorite thing that ChatGPT did, as it was able to clearly determine that Wisecrack producing a video sponsored by Lockheed Martin was unethical, and it didn't want blood on its algorithmic hands. So bravo, ChatGPT. But also, if you're watching this video, hello Lockheed Martin, I would love to write you a human video at Wisecrack if you pay us $1 million. Also, the only other topic it wouldn't touch is when I asked it to write a video about the show that convinced me God definitely isn't real, MILF Manor. So the two things ChatGPT wouldn't touch are Lockheed Martin and MILF Manor. There's a connection there. You figure it out and let us know in the comments why Lockheed Martin and MILF Manor are a part of this ethical no-go zone. Thus far, we only have a couple of maybe usable paragraphs and a solid ethical response to using our content to help make the weapons industry look sexy. But after all that, I'm still not polishing my resume. Now, one problem with the previous scripts is that they're pretty brief, which might work for a 60-second YouTube short, but we usually aim for scripts between 1,500 and 2,500 words. To get a little bit closer to that, I asked ChatGPT to write a 1,000-word script for a Wisecrack video on the topic of digital content and commodification. At this point, it seemed like the algorithm was learning more, and it even started including stage directions for me and my performance. I'll try my best to follow those. Also at this point, ChatGPT switched from using narrator to my full name, Michael Burns, completely unprompted. So it learned my name, and I imagine if I keep using it, it's gonna learn a lot more about me, which I don't like, but here we go. Hey there, Wisecrack fans. Today, we're talking about digital content and commodification. It's a topic that affects all of us, whether we realize it or not. So sit back, grab a snack, and let's dive in. Michael Burns. In the age of the internet, digital content has become an integral part of our lives. From social media to streaming services, we're constantly consuming and creating digital content. But as we've become more dependent on this digital content, it's also become more valuable. And that's where the issue of commodification comes in. Commodification refers to the process by which something that was once considered non-economic, such as art or even our personal data, becomes a commodity that can be bought and sold. And when it comes to digital content, this process has been accelerated by the rise of the digital economy. The digital economy is driven by data, and the more data we generate, the more valuable it becomes. This has led to the commodification of digital content, as companies seek to monetize the data that we generate through our interactions with digital content. So what does this mean for us, the consumers of digital content? Well, it means that we're not just consuming content. We're also generating data that's being used to make money. Our personal data, our likes and dislikes, our habits and behaviors, all of this is being collected and sold to advertisers, market researchers, and other companies. This commodification of digital content has led to a growing sense of digital alienation, as we begin to feel like we're no longer in control of our personal data, and that it's being used for purposes that we didn't intend. It's also raised questions about the ethics of digital content, as we begin to realize that we're not just consuming content, we're also being consumed by it. So, what can we do about this? How can we reclaim control of our digital lives and avoid being consumed by the commodification of digital content? Well, one option is to limit our use of digital content and to be more mindful of the data that we're generating. This means using ad block, adjusting our privacy settings, and being more discerning about the content that we consume. Another option is to support alternative models of digital content, such as open source platforms and peer-to-peer networks. These models place the control of our data back in our hands and allow us to participate in the creation and distribution of digital content in a way that's more equitable and sustainable. Wow. Okay, so while this still might not be a ready-to-shoot Wisecrack video, in a very short amount of time, and with very limited inputs on my part, ChatGPT was able to write a script that both outlined a topic suitable for the channel and also made some genuine connections between ideas. My favorite line from this one was probably, "We're not just consuming content, we're also being consumed by it." And honestly, if one of my colleagues wrote that, I would be pretty psyched. I would go in the Google Doc and I would leave a comment like, "Great work, good writing, Chief, Daddy loves you, please help. The criminals had me trapped and the only thing they're not monitoring is my comments on Google Docs. So this is how I'm telling you, if you don't get a bag with 1,000,000 lira to this Taco Bell by 4 p.m., I am going to be assassinated by the Prime Minister of Egypt," or something like that. It's also cool that this one ended with a call to support alternative content models and open source platforms which support equitable and sustainable content production and consumption, because this is something we've talked about a lot in the past. Now, this is what ChatGPT was able to do with one afternoon of me just kind of messing around with it. It's not impossible to imagine it coming up with something that could be polished and edited by an organic human life form and used for an actual video like this. But hey, let's not freak out yet, right? Because what are they gonna do? Use ChatGPT to construct Wisecrack scripts? And then what? You use an app like Fiverr or Upwork to pay someone overseas a fraction of what we pay writers to polish that into a usable script? And then what then? What, they're gonna use my likeness, which I'm sure the company somehow probably already owns the rights to create a deep fake of my face and voice to host all the videos, creating the semblance of continuity as they continue to produce the same amount of content without the problem of employing humans. Oh, this could happen. But hey, let's enjoy things in the meantime, shall we? And rest assured that at least at this point, all of our scripts are very much written by living, breathing, procrastinating human beings, for now. But what do you guys think about all this? Is AI really on the verge of taking over the written content industry? Is there something irreducible about human thought? Or is advancing technology just showing us that we're really not that special after all? Let us know what you think in the comments. Huge thanks as always to our patrons. If you're looking for more human interaction, consider joining our Patreon community. I just posted a video on there from our Philosophy Office Hour series. This is where I answer questions from patrons, talk a little bit more about the philosophical themes and ideas in our videos, sometimes drink a crisp glass of white wine on camera, things of that nature. But if that sounds good to you, consider joining our Patreon. There's a link in the description. But most importantly, thank you to all of you for your human attention focused on our human content and for all your human likes and subscriptions and follows. It really means the world to us. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.